So guys, before we get started, I'll tell you, some of you guys, I know quite a few of you guys. Some of you guys used to work for my previous construction company, and now you're entrepreneurs running your own companies. Congratulations. And but some of you guys don't know me, so I, real quick before we get started, how many of you guys knew when you were kids or teenagers that you were going to be a construction industry entrepreneur? Anybody here grow up in a family business and knew absolutely? Or they're going to be a storm chaser? How many storm chasers in a room? How many insurance restoration contractors in a room? We like that word better, right? AKA storm chasing. Well, I grew up, I wanted to be an attorney. So I grew up, high school, planning to be an attorney, and I realized real quick when I got close to 17, 18 years old that college and law school cost a lot of money, right? So I had to join the Army, did 3 years overseas to get the Army College Fund. Any past military guys here? Where were you stationed? Fort Stupid? Yeah. So I had 3 years overseas, came back. Was the Minnesota guys? Did University of Minnesota, the Army College Fund, Carlson School of Management. Changed my mind about being an attorney. Wanted to become an entrepreneur because I realized attorneys. Is Childress Duffy here yet? Is the attorney firm here? No. Well, attorneys, unless you own the firm, don't make that much money starting out. So I changed my course, got my MBA from Carlson, graduated, worked at Ecolab. You guys familiar with Ecolab, downtown St. Paul? You Minnesota guys? So I was a corporate guy for 3 years, post-MBA. I'm building to a point here so you guys understand how I entered into the insurance restoration industry. But figured out after 3 years that working in a nice cubicle, because I was post-MBA, I had a nicer cubicle than other people, but it was still a constricting environment for me working at, as a W-2 wage earner. So I spent 3 years in corporate America. I also, after 3 years of working there, realized I still had $60,000 or $70,000 in graduate school loan debt because the Army College Fund doesn't actually kick in for grad school, it's for undergrad, at least it was back then. And I had probably $30,000 in credit card debt. So I was and I'm building up to a point here. May 15, 1998, I was just at a certain point in my life where I was looking for an entrepreneurial opportunity on the side. How many guys here started out as salespeople before they became contractors? Okay, quite a few of us, right? I think my company's given birth to at least 500 entrepreneurs out there, across the nation. So we'll get to that. But I was looking for something on the side to make money. Speaking of chance encounters, you never know who you're going to meet and where. I met a guy downtown Minneapolis. I thought he was going to be here, Tom Romero. Anybody know Tom? He's been in the industry a number of years. And he was a traveling salesperson from Colorado, for you guys from Colorado, for the Minnesota storm. Has anybody been in the industry long enough here to remember the May 15th, 1998 hailstorm in the Twin Cities? Well, it was a record storm. I mean, that was a storm that launched 1,000 entrepreneurs in Minnesota, and we were one of them. But a lot of folks from Texas. How many Texas folks we got here? A lot of folks from Texas, some of you guys might remember, came to Minnesota, and most of the Minnesota contractors had no clue what hail was or how to deal with it because it was the first time we had a record hailstorm of that nature in the suburbs. And so I worked for one of those companies that came up from Texas that did a set. Anybody familiar with the word set? It's like a franchise without the 1,000-page franchise document. you pay a local company a fee. And I worked for one of those companies, and I learned a lot working for this smaller company, small company. I also learned a lot of things that we shouldn't be doing in the industry, and thought that there was a better way to do it. But I didn't quit my job, so I worked part-time in evenings. Anybody have any part-time salespeople on our teams? People that have full-time jobs and just kind of work part-time? I was one of those guys when I started out, so I worked a couple evenings a week and Saturdays. And my only goal was to get rid of debt. I wanted to pay off some college debt, some credit card debt, and I think I did, I don't remember, 60 or 70,000 sales commissions because I was hustling in about an 8-month period. But I was learning. I mean, I didn't have the prior construction knowledge that some of you guys had, but I could sign deals. The contingency agreement. Everybody familiar with that? I could ink a lot of those. I didn't know what drip edge was or nails, but I knew how to say, hey, if you let me inspect your roof today and I find some damage, we're going to get this thing paid for by your insurance company. And I got very good at that sales pitch.